Love will tear us apart again. Why is this bedroom so cold?
This video is actually a first impression of the Leah Remini Jehovah Witness special that lasted about a couple of hours, and this is from the perspective of my wife, who is a full-fledged card-carrying Jehovah Witness. The recording itself is a hidden recorder that I had on, so I played it. I recorded like in the beginning, and then at the end. The lion's share of this video is a discussion we had at the end of the special, and we had a candid, honest conversation with a lot of things sort of brought on to the table, and all you got to do is just listen to it, because this is the first impression, an unboxing or of sorts or whatever about the Leah Remini Jehovah Witness special from a candid Jehovah Witness, and a lot of surprising things on this recording here. So here you go.
One more. It's a bonus. Oh, it's on Jehovah's Witnesses. That's interesting.
What?
I just saw it. It's weird. I wasn't even reading it until the last second. So now we're part of something.
This is interesting.
What does that have to do with Scientology?
Guess we'll find out. So what did you think about that?
Some of it is true, like some of it is like false, you know, and exaggerated. And my thoughts on my children are like, if it came to that, I most likely would choose my children over life. Because I love them so much.
Yeah.
Just strongly, you know.
Well, you got me to fight for them, so.
Yeah. But I'm saying faith is a strong thing when you're raised in it. But I still have so much faith, but I still question things too, also. And I have faith and I have doubts, and I'm honest with that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to my children, even if I thought something was so wrong, I would choose them over it anyway, you know. Like, I can't abandon them,
Right.
no matter what. Even if I thought I would die because I abandoned my faith, I would still choose my children. Just because.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I understand that. And I'm glad to hear that.
But
Really.
when I'm watching it, I'm not angry, I'm just listening. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like, there's still some false statements to me and some hype, but but I still have questions. I still don't like what, and I'm not on the defense when I'm watching it.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I'm more like if my child was in trouble, I can't just like not talk to them, no matter what.
Yeah.
Even if like I had God going, you're gonna die if you talk to your kid, I'd still choose to talk to them. Just
See, well, I believe that's never going to happen.
no,
God
but
telling
I'm just,
you that
but
you're
I'm
going to
just
die.
saying.
Yeah,
But,
an example.
my faith is strong, but my love for my children kind of fights that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
In all the.
It shouldn't be a fight.
It shouldn't, but yeah. But I'm just saying that I question certain things, but I still love the Bible and God and everything. So some of their things are like, I'm like, yeah, I don't look to men.
Mhm.
I still question things and say some things could be wrong because, but I still want to hope for the future, and I still want to give a hope for the future to my kids,
Mhm.
but I can't abandon them.
Well,
If they had lack of faith, I couldn't like walk away from them. I know that about myself.
I've been watching the Australian Royal Commission, and
Well, I've been watching that too,
and it's really disturbing. I mean, and that's why I send you those,
yeah, I
newspaper
know.
clips of they're getting sued left and right, and I don't think you guys even know. I mean,
Well,
$44 million.
and I like to be in the know of that,
Yeah,
but
they got a
but
list.
my thing is more a religious thing of like believing in God and the future and wanting them to live forever and for us to be young and live forever and have a
Mhm.
life. But yeah, like if my kids had a conscience of faith and everything,
But the thing is,
I
the Bible
can't leave
says there's
them
only one way to go to heaven or the other
or
paradise or
parents.
whatever, and that's through Jesus and not through the governing body.
Yeah.
And it
It
seems
also
like
talks about the faithful and discreet slaves, so they say that.
uh,
But
the faithful and discreet
and
slave, I
the
think, is everyone, not the 8 men in New York.
yeah.
I mean, that's the way
And
I read it.
and like I'm still learning about that, but I'm not gonna abandon my kids because of that, you know.
Mhm.
I still I still like just watch and listen to everything.
Right.
But I'm not
Well, for me
but
to sort
about
of,
child molestation and all this stuff, I'm not clueless. I'm very distrusting of people. I'm not like
the thing is, it's written in their policy. I have the shepherd the,
yeah.
of the flock book, and
I've
in
always
there,
been taught that there's one true religion and that Jehovah has an organization on earth. So that's all of that is hard for me. Like I'm still
yeah,
questioning it, but I'm still staying in it because of that. But I'm not gonna abandon my kids. I'm not gonna be like those people on there that were like,
right,
no,
right. I've been, you know, you
I'm
seen the books that
protective of
I'm,
my kids.
yeah,
I'm not like, oh, you're a witness. Okay, let me send my kids over to your house.
yeah, yeah.
You know
Well,
that,
if
but you know
anything,
that about me.
yeah, I do, and
And
I appreciate
and you
that.
know also that my parents, even though they're witnesses, I feel they're messed up. So I'm not like all about family in
Hmm.
that way.
Yeah, yeah. But I've been,
But even when I watch this, I'm not like angry. I'm interested. I'm
yeah.
not
I
like
don't think it was sensationalized or anything. It's just,
it's their
it's,
story.
yeah.
It's their story, but and there's some things I don't agree with, but there's some things that I'm like, yeah, you're right. That should be looked at.
Hmm.
So
Because I look, that's why I'm so critical, because in the Shepherding the God of Flock book, where it's a
which I
secret
haven't
book.
looked at, yeah.
I got a copy.
Mhm.
It's all over the internet, and I printed
Mhm.
it out. But in there it says, for when it comes to abuse of a child in that two witness rule thing or
Yeah,
whatever, it said it should be taken up to the branch committee or the branch in New York, taken up to the branch instead of the police.
yeah,
And that's disturbing to me.
yeah.
It's like, wait a minute.
Well, as a person coming from a family of high child abuse, I'm not, you
Oh,
know.
I know, and I know you won't go to
Well, you
the to
know
the.
that I'm angry at my parents for letting me go hang out at my grandpa's house just because my grandma was there.
Yeah,
They didn't look out for me.
yeah,
My grandpa actually came after me. I remember getting away from him, but I also have lots of childhood memories I don't remember.
yeah. But that he wasn't a JW though. He
No,
wasn't.
but
But still, yeah, that
my
doesn't
parents were
matter.
stupid because
Yeah.
they weren't like protective, you know.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I don't feel like just because the person's a Jehovah's Witness, they're upstanding, and if you don't know them, you don't know anyone.
No, and I don't trust anybody. That's just you and
Yeah.
the kids and stuff, and maybe a couple of close friends. But
I'm saying, like, even if I'm religious, I'm still figuring things out too. I never claim to know it.
yeah, I've started to read the Bible just to get an understanding, and everything. And I'm actually reading your guys' material as a contrast.
Yeah.
And I don't see how there's an organization, the only organization where the Bible, at least the New Testament itself says the only way is through Jesus Christ. Every other name, his name is above every other name, and
Well, I
this,
always
that,
been
the
taught,
other.
like,
So
there's a faithful and discreet slave on earth, and
I read that too, and I'm like, what's this all about? And
yeah.
to me, it sounds like everyone, okay, how happy, paraphrasing now, how happy am I, Jesus, to see you taking care
Yeah.
of business,
But also,
and
like, spreading the kingdom message, like, I always read that you're supposed to do that to, like,
well,
that's like a mission of Jesus.
yeah, but there's a passage there that I read just recently, or actually I got it on my phone and I listened to it. Paul said that the Apostle Paul said that if you don't have the skills for preaching, you don't have to. There's other people that'll do that has that skill or want to. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. I got it written down because I was like, this whole knocking on doors things,
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
it's like,
And I get that, but I'm saying that how I was raised, like, I'm still in it, but at the same time, I protect my children, and there's certain things that I won't. Like, I'll always be there for them,
So, okay.
I'll risk my life to be there for them, basically.
Well, which life are you talking about? Spiritual or
Spiritual and everything else. Like,
Well,
if I.
if you
But
follow
I
the
still,
New
no, I'm
Testament,
saying,
then
like, I question things, but I
Mhm.
still, I haven't questioned things to throw it all away yet.
right.
But I still question things. I still don't go, oh, okay, since you said this from the Kingdom Hall,
Yeah.
I'm all about it.
Well, it does say to test everything,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
and so
But, and I don't feel guilty about it. I'm just saying
you
that
shouldn't.
I'm on a path too. I'm not like this person who thinks I know it all.
Right.
Or that
Right.
this is it.
See, I'm looking at. I just looked at that thing
But
there,
there were
and it's
some things
shocking
with
to me.
that I'm saying that some of those things I'm like not agreeing with.
Yeah. But I don't want that experience for my either.
But they're not gonna have it.
I don't want
through
them
me.
to be scared of anybody or scared that I'm going to die. Remember when told,
Yeah,
and that was kind of messed up. I mean, and luckily
and
I was.
talked about that, but she says she doesn't say those things. So it's
Well,
more like,
that was the kid's interpretation
Yeah.
that was going through
Yeah.
his head. But I was lucky enough to started getting into the New Testament, and everything, and I was like, oh, I can look this up, and just to get her mind at ease to say, listen, God will wait for me if that's what it
Yeah.
takes because of
I mean,
that.
such a thinking person.
Well, yeah, that's why I had to
And
go there.
She challenges me on everything.
Well, that's why I went the route that I went, and look. After that, there was no mention of anything, and she didn't lose sleep afterwards. So
And
I was.
she's still thinking of things, but I don't want her to be scared. I just want her to learn the way I'm learning, and realize that adults don't have all the answers either.
Right.
Because I don't have all the answers. I'm still figuring it out.
I don't know. You know me. I got that skeptic,
And
critical
with
thinking
the
thing
way
going
with
on.
my parents, I just think they're messed up anyway, and it has nothing to do with that. It just has to do with them being freaking messed up.
Yeah.
So So even when I listen to this, I am questioning things, but I have faith in the Bible and God, you know.
Right. Well,
So
that's what it says to go to is just that, and
exactly.
I don't believe that I read some stuff where they said that the only you can't read the Bible on yourself. You have to go through the publication of the Watchtower to understand it fully.
No,
And I'm like, no, I'm listening to
I
the
don't know where you
tapes.
heard that from because
It,
I
it,
haven't heard that.
well, I look it up on there's this website called jwfacts.com, and they show all the
Yeah.
old publications and everything, and then I haven't had the time to sit down and look to see if there was a rebuttal to that, like what you guys call new light to
Yeah.
do that over, and new light that kind of strange to me. I mean,
New
yeah,
light is
I
just learning new things.
I know it, but the passage that they use is more of a, the guy, his life is getting brighter and brighter. It's not that he's knowing things, brighter and brighter, or understanding things brighter and brighter. That's how I interpret it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm learning, getting my things
Well,
done,
I'm just saying that
and I'm
I may like be still a Jehovah's Witness, but I'm still questioning things.
right.
I'm not like,
And the reason why I am learning too is I want to be there to answer questions that the girls may have,
yeah.
and I don't want to be like, oh, ask your mother, she's the whatever,
Well, I'm
and
not the
so
whatever though.
no, but
Sometimes,
you get what I'm
sometimes
saying,
when like she's, I don't know what to say.
yeah.
I'm not like the best
Well, there
encyclopedia.
was once or twice where I was like, well, let's look it up, and you go to Google and you can look it up, and it'll tell you right there, and it's luckily
Mostly, I
she's
just want a future. I want to believe in that the Bible is real and that we will
That's not in
live
question, though.
forever.
It's not that the Bible is not real
Yeah,
or not. It is just, you know,
but
that those
but
eight
that
men in New
part,
York
yeah,
that
but true. But I still want to believe that the Bible is real and that we will get to live forever and that we have a future. That's my main.
well, it looks like the Bible says it, and you just have
Yeah,
to have faith in everything,
exactly.
but have
But
faith
how to
in
get
God
there?
and not men,
But how to get there is challenging because of all the other crap, you know. I'm just
Well,
saying.
I mean, what kind of good works are there? I mean,
No,
is
but it
going
says
door to
like
door?
going. Jesus said, preach the good news, and then the end will come.
Then Paul said, but if you don't have the skills or you don't want to preach,
I'll have to
then
look at that one. I
yeah,
haven't seen that one
I'll look it up for you.
but I'm just
And just
saying.
and
I'm saying I'm still figuring out too. Like I want to believe there's a future. Like who wants to know that they're gonna just get old as crap and die and nothing,
right,
and that you're gonna give your kids that future too. Oh yes, you'll also get as old as crap and die.
well, then but you come back, you know,
No, I'm just saying that.
in their
Well,
lifetime now.
that I want that to be true, and like I'm still
So
learning about that.
for that to be true, then they would survive, the Armageddon scene.
Exactly.
8 billion people die in front of them, their friends and
No,
stuff. Yeah,
Armageddon is more of a righteous war
where
where
8
everything is
million,
cleaned
where
up.
8 billion people
No,
died.
because the Bible says like God doesn't actually want everyone to be destroyed. He
No,
wants
but
the
they would have to they would have to
It
proclaim
says there's
Jesus as
no, because it says also that there'll be a resurrection of the righteous and the unrighteous.
that didn't know about
Exactly.
Jesus' life. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, but those guys are gone already,
Yeah, but God's not
or in
like
heaven.
vindictive or anything.
No, well, we wasn't talking about that.
Yeah.
No, no.
But I'm saying like I don't want them to have this future where it's bleak.
Well, it's not bleak though, because there's so many encouraging things in the New Testament, and this is coming from a skeptic.
I know.
You know? No, I'm reading it and I'm like,
Yeah.
this is pretty cool, already, because now I'm actually paying attention and stuff. And I got this other book, similar sayings of the Buddha and Jesus and stuff, and you know, they both got really good sayings, you know, that are
Yeah.
pretty similar. But it looks like, okay, yeah, if you look at the Old Testament, you know, that's just a horror book, you know, with
Yeah.
some good people.
But if you're coming from like, okay, like from where I was raised, that there's one true religion, it is hard. I mean, it's hard to not weigh that against everything. Like, I've always been, we became Bible students, and then we like changed our name to Jehovah's Witnesses, and Jesus said that there was a faithful, discreet slave on earth, and that they were the ones that were going to administer the spirituality.
Which, how I understood it, is everyone, not just the 8 men or the 144. It was everyone, you know.
But I'm just coming from where I'm standing from. I'm still like, I'm not saying it's wrong or right. I'm just watching and waiting, you know. But I'm not subjecting my children to crazy things. I'm not gonna like program into them, you will stay or you'll die, or I will never talk to you again.
Well, I'm glad. I've been wanting to have this conversation for a long time,
but I can't do that stuff. I'm still questioning it myself. So how can I say that to them when I don't? When I have all the questions myself.
Yeah.
If they have the questions and I have the questions, I'm not gonna be like.
But it's all positive though. I mean, you know, like.
It's positive because we have a rapport, and I love them, and I'm not gonna turn them away.
Yeah.
So.
Not turn them away from you, but what do you mean?
But everything. I'm not gonna turn them away from me.
Okay.
And I'm gonna be honest with them. I'm not gonna be like pretend.
Gotcha.
You know?
So what you're saying is, if for whatever reason they get baptized and everything, they're in there, but they make a mistake, they get caught smoking, and they're disfellowship, you're not gonna shun them, because remember that's how we met.
Not like how. Yeah, it's true, but I mean, okay. Here's an example, because our kids are gonna mess up, but I don't like write them off because of it.
Well, that's the thing, to give them the confidence that they're gonna mess up, but not like
I remember all the ways I mess up,
But so if I question and stuff and everything, it is for the best interest of our kids too. So
but don't think I'm like.
Well, I don't know. Without asking you or whatever.
I was just listening. I wasn't like.
I'm glad you have an open mind to it.
I was like, oh, that's a false statement, and I told you.
Yeah.
But the other things I'm just listening.
Yeah, and the parts that you did say, I agreed. You guys do get medical attention when needed and everything.
Yeah.
But
I'm saying some of the things might hype it, but I'm still listening because I'm interested too. I'm not like, if they do a whole series on this, I'm gonna watch it. I'm not gonna be like not watching it.
Well, the governing body said not to even look at it, and that's a disfellowship and offense.
They won't know. I'm not superstitious.
You're not gonna feel guilty until the elders and call you in the back room with 3 other men and
I think I've been there.
Huh?
I think I've been there.
We gotta talk about that. You never talked about that.
What?
You're disfellowshipping.
Yeah. There was some things about it that till this day I was just like, oh my god. Because they wrote like a timeline of my sins.
Did they ask you like really detailed questions, like what you were wearing and stuff? And
no, not that. But they wrote I remember one elder showing me a timeline of my sins, so that's why I had to be disfellowship.
So it's 7 o'clock.
They weren't gonna forgive me because of the timeline of my sins. They wrote it like the timeline of 1914, so every time I see a timeline, I think of I go back to that and I'm like, oh. And I can't like get it out of my mind because I'm like, oh my god, the timeline of my sins.
Oh man. Why? Because there was more than one occurrence or something, or
Yeah.
and you told them?
Yeah, because I was very good. I always wanted to be very honest.
Oh man.
But my honesty got me more in trouble.
Yeah, I got you kicked out. You met a whirly boy, and now you got 2 kids from him.
Well, I can't regret that because you're awesome.
What about me?
Well, you're not exactly awesome, but you're okay.
Oh, it's okay. Okay.
If you put baseboards in our next house, then maybe.
Well, yeah. I'm gonna look forward to it. I haven't proven myself to you yet. 20 years.
No.
Oh,
I'm very
man.
hardcore.
You're worse than the freaking gummy body. Oh, it's nice to know that you're not a robot.
Hello, you should know that by now.
I don't know. Sometimes I wonder.
What?
Some days.
Why do you wonder if I'm a robot?
Huh?
Why do you wonder if I'm a robot?
I don't know. I'm tired. It's late.
Because you're tired? You're just trying to get out of this conversation?
Yeah.
I have to pee. Telling me the opposite.
Wanna go to bed? It's like 1.
Oh, wow. Really? Yeah, I do.
Alright. Well, there you have it. A good conversation we had after the show. Kind of left everything on a positive note, and something to definitely follow up with later on, with a little bit of more piecemealing of information, some inconsistencies in the Bible between the New World's Translation and current traditional contemporary Bible, like the King James Version or some other version. I mean, there's just a whole magnitude of stuff that I could slowly introduce into conversation. But having it be a conversation and not a confrontation, I think that's key to, opening up this dialogue and introducing things here and there to kind of break the ice a bit. And with this conversation, I listen to it constantly, try to get little clues into, how can I approach a certain subject. And obviously she loves our kids, and that the kids would be a determinant factor as to possibly her waking up or her easing off on, the draconian sort of indoctrination that the Watchtower does. But the indoctrination that's kind of in the subconscious sort of level, so she may do it without even realizing that she is doing indoctrination. So that's just something there to kind of keep an eye on, from my point of view. And like I said, this was pretty amazing to me. I'm kind of riding high now, but it could still, it's on a very thin edge there, because if I say the wrong things or something happens, or in a moment's notice, she could go back into shutting up and raising that Jehovah Witness wall against me. But at this point, that's not the case. At this point, I'm continuing my efforts on concentrating on the kids themselves, and just have my wife there as a sort of a bystander, a collateral damage, I guess, when I'm dealing with the kids, to see how the society is, policies and doctrine would damage our kids to a certain extent. So I'm just concentrating on the kids, making sure that they will critically think everything that's being fed to them. And in the meantime, my wife, she could just do whatever she can, but this is an open door for me to kind of do a little bit of the truth about the truth sort of activism. And if things happen positively to my wife and stuff, in regards to all this, then it's all gravy. But my main focus is the kids not falling into this racket, as Rutherford has said back in the day, I guess. But that just gives me sort of like the green light to send even more information through Facebook, because we're both on Facebook, and we send silly quotes and links to each other. But once in a while, when they come up, I link a actual credible media like the New York Times, or something to that effect, about all these law cases, lawsuits, and elders being, charged with pedophilia, and there's a bunch of them. And once in a while, I do send a link saying, "Hey, look, it's happening again. When will this end?" Just a one-liner there, just to, let her know that this is pretty widespread. And unfortunately, there's not a shortage of stories in the media about such cases. So little by little, I'm just gonna feed her little bits of information here and there, and hopefully open up some more dialogue. I kind of feel crummy for recording all this secretly. I'm sure she wouldn't appreciate this, but I take to them, they call it theocratic warfare, and with me, to me, it's just all fair in love and war, and this is a war for the hearts of our kids and the love for my family. So I got to do what I got to do. Thanks for listening, and hopefully I'll, have some more conversations recorded, because it's opening up just a little bit. This is just a little crack in that JW wall around my family, immediate family there. So let's see what happens. Okay, thank you.